Hello, and welcome to my film, The Flat Question. Did you know that 66% of millennials believe that the Earth is round? That means that 44% believe that the Earth is some other shape. It could be flat, a donut, a dinosaur, and it could not even exist. Believe me, I was just as stumped as you are, but we're not talking about that. In this film, we're going to be talking about the flat Earth theory. Hello, my name is Sangha Webster. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll be sitting down with Vitor, a flat Earth believer, and he's been gracious enough to allow us in on his world, why he believes in the flat Earth, and maybe some background information on that. In this interview, we will be figuring out why these people believe in what they believe. Why has it been gaining traction? And the big question, if it's real, how come we don't know about it? So sit back, relax, enjoy your pizza, and most importantly, let your beliefs sit in the back. That way, it opens up to even more possibilities for you.
Well, I'm Vitor, and I've been a flat earther for probably 3 years now. I mean, it's a spectrum of how much of a flat earther I've become, and I feel like it's been gradually increasing. So, but I've been pretty set on it, I guess, pretty convinced for 3 years, yeah. Well, originally, when the first time I heard of it, being brought up in somewhat of a serious sense was in, I think, my freshman year of college. My friend told me, this was 4 years ago, he told me that the Earth was flat, and I didn't believe him. And it was 4.5 years ago, a little over 4 years. I was like, man, everything converges in spheres. There's no way. You've lost it, right? And that's the first I heard of it, yeah, pretty much. I don't regret it at all, honestly. It's been such a crazy change for me, and it has been heavy sometimes. It's been a lot to deal with. You know, as I come across a lot of stuff, I've gone back and forth, definitely. Well, I first started trying to debunk it, right, when my friend told me about it, and I did some Google searching and instantly was able to kind of debunk what I saw on the Flat Earth Society, and I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, this is nonsense. And so well, I've gotten told that my head was flat. I've gotten told that, you know, I'm living in my own mind. I've gotten told some pretty worse things, some pretty, you know, kind of derogative, degenerating things because of my beliefs, but I stand up to them still, and I've learned to not let things bother me, yeah. Because if someone's offending me for my belief, that's not my own fault, and that's nothing wrong with me. It's just their inability to kind of accept that people can have different opinions. I don't think that it can be any other shapes, because I think that the nature of the world, the universe we live in, constitutes the Earth being a flat, motionless plane. And so that's, to me, what it is. Yeah. They say that there's this city called Agartha, and that there's different highly advanced beings living down under the Earth. And sometimes they come back and forth through the North Pole. And I think the reason why that one started gaining traction is because the pictures, if you go on Google Earth, or if you look at a picture of the North Pole, there'll be just a hole, or it was just filled in, and there'll be kind of like segments all around it, as if it was kind of just pasted on, or kind of, you know, they're hiding land. And I've seen a picture of just satellite, right, picture where, and also because there's not a single picture of the Antarctic continent, right? Other than some cartoons. If you look up Antarctica on Google, you won't find a picture of the full continent like you can find a picture of South America. Well, I think at the very higher levels, like the Ivy League universities, some of the scientists that write a lot of these books, or that are, you know, in charge of writing some of these university books and teaching, or, you know, the books that the lectures are based on, they could be in the know. I'm sure a lot of them are in those levels, but 90% of scientists are convinced that they live on a ball, right? Because you go to learn astronomy, and that's all you learn, and you learn about very detailed things about how the solar system works, and how black holes are formed, and nebulas, and all these things. And there's no way you're ever going to, you know, question the narrative you've been fed basically throughout your master's or PhD, however far they go. They're not going to question it, and if they do, they'll run into what I ran into at first, like the Flat Earth Society and those things, like those groups, and what I call controlled opposition. And so it's very hard to kind of start to look into it, especially if you're a scientist. And I feel like it's harder for them because of the conditioning, I guess you could say, that they've been through for so long, you know. I've tried to, you know, like slip things to them every once in a while and kind of crack jokes, but I've learned to not push these beliefs on anybody, because it's pretty much the greatest question, or the greatest kind of like skepticism you could have towards our world and towards what it is. And I guess it's like questioning the core, one of the most core beliefs that people have in this society, right? We've figured out a long time ago that the Earth was a ball. How are you, you know, you don't see the pictures from NASA, you don't see, you know, satellites images, and, you know, you're holding your phone right now. How are you calling me through your phone? So there's a lot of barriers that you have to go through, and with my family I found that it just impairs my relation to them, so I've learned to just let things be and let things run their own course, yeah. So the Flat Earth Society, like I said, is a controlled opposition, but the Flat Earth Research Society, the International Flat Earth Research Society, IFRS.org or something, if you search IFRS on Google, you'll find it. That's legit. It was made by Eric Dubé. He's a big prominent figure in the movement. To find me personally, Flat Earth Hawaii is my page, and I started it because I feel like a lot of pages nowadays are being suppressed, being censored, and a lot of the people who are trying to put out this truth are being persecuted and shamed, and you know, and I feel like there are a lot of real pages, but it's hard to find ones that are not agents or controlled opposition, because there's so many nowadays. And so I made that page to kind of tell people that, yeah, the TMT is a lie and we shouldn't fund it, and we should, hey, ask these people, what are you doing with all this data? What are you really trying to get out of this telescope? And I run the truth page Vegan Vitalist. I'm not, like I said, I'm not vegan anymore. I've gone through multiple stages of health and finding out what's right and what's not poisonous in this society. It's hard. And I put a lot of truth in there that'll help you piece together the puzzle of this really big deception, basically, yeah.